Ibrahim Traoré has shaken up African politics in a way no one saw coming. His bold leadership and commitment to self-reliance have sparked panic among corrupt elites across the continent, especially after former US President Donald Trump's decision to cut foreign aid to Africa. This isn't just politics as usual, it's a reckoning. For decades, foreign aid has served as a lifeline for many African governments, but instead of using these funds for development, corrupt leaders have diverted them into their personal coffers, leaving citizens to suffer in poverty and underdevelopment. With Trump pulling the plug on this steady flow of cash, many African leaders were thrown into chaos. They weren't prepared for a reality where self-sufficiency was the only way forward. But while others panicked, Ibrahim Traoré thrived. His leadership in Burkina Faso has become a blueprint for real lasting change. Unlike leaders who make hollow promises and stage elaborate ceremonies for projects that never materialize, Traoré delivers results that speak for themselves. A recent viral video on social media captured the arrival of road construction and farming equipment worth millions of dollars entering Burkina Faso from Ghana. This wasn't some government publicity stunt. A traveler recorded the footage, proving that Traoré's administration is more focused on action than applause. What other African leader can boast of such transparency and genuine progress? Chapter 1. Building a nation from within. Under Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso is taking control of its development. The government has committed to constructing major roads and highways to connect the country's largest cities. This isn't just about improving transportation, it's about laying the foundation for economic growth and regional cooperation. As part of the newly formed Alliance of Sahel States, which includes Mali and Niger, Burkina Faso is involved in a groundbreaking project, a 1.460-kilometer interstate highway. This strategic trade and transport route will connect key cities like Niamey, Tia, Dori, Kaya, Ouagadougou, Bobo Dioulasso, Orodara, Sasso Boni, and Bam. What makes this project remarkable is the source of funding. Burkina Faso is financing these developments with its own money, not foreign loans burdened with conditions. The people themselves have contributed to this progress, raising 175 billion CFA francs in 2024 to support national efforts. With the country's new gold refinery generating additional revenue, there's no doubt that Burkina Faso has the means to sustain its growth. Chapter 2. Economic self-sufficiency. Traoré's vision doesn't stop at infrastructure. His administration is driving economic transformation through industrialization and self-reliance. Burkina Faso now boasts a pharmaceutical production plant, tomato processing factories, a cashew nut processing facility, a waste treatment plant, and even a nuclear power facility. These initiatives have created jobs and boosted local industries, giving young people a reason to stay and build their futures at home. Traoré is investing in industrial complexes to process essential goods like shea butter and refined edible oil, reducing the country's dependency on imports and strengthening its economy. This shift towards self-sufficiency is a game-changer, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire continent. It proves that Africa doesn't need endless foreign aid to thrive, it needs fearless, visionary leaders who prioritize their people. Chapter 3. Putting an end to corruption and waste. One of the reasons corrupt African leaders are in disarray is Traoré's crackdown on government waste. Public accountability has become a hallmark of his administration. Ministers, managing directors, and top officials have seen their salaries slashed by 30%, while civil servants have received a 50% wage increase. Extravagant perks, like luxury cars and first-class travel, have been eliminated. Even Traoré himself leads by example, driving a second-hand pickup truck. This level of discipline is rare in African politics, where public funds often vanish into the pockets of officials living lavishly at the expense of their citizens. Traoré's approach is a stark contrast and a breath of fresh air. Chapter 4. Exposing the dependency myth. When Traoré boldly declared that Burkina Faso would survive without foreign aid, many dismissed his words as mere rhetoric, but his actions have proven otherwise. With Trump's decision to cut aid to Africa, Traoré's stance has become a reality. Instead of panicking, Burkina Faso has embraced this new challenge as an opportunity to reform and grow. The country's progress under Traoré's leadership exposes the flawed mindset that has gripped many African governments, a sense of entitlement to foreign aid without accountability or results. This entitlement was on full display when Trump's announcement sparked outrage across Africa. Social media was flooded with complaints, as many viewed the decision as unfair and disastrous. But instead of holding their leaders accountable for decades of corruption and mismanagement, people directed their anger at Trump. Let's be real. Foreign aid is a privilege, not a birthright, and it's meant to uplift people, not finance the extravagant lifestyles of corrupt politicians. African governments need to prioritize self-reliance and economic transformation instead of endlessly begging for handouts. Traoré's leadership serves as a wake-up call for African nations. It's time to stop blaming colonialism, the global economy, and climate change for our problems. The real issue is bad leadership, misplaced priorities, and a culture of impunity. When governments panic at the mere suggestion of financial audits, it's clear there's something to hide. Until leadership changes, no amount of aid will make a difference. The real enemy of Africa isn't Trump. It's the leaders who refuse to do the right thing. Chapter 5. A leader admired across borders. Traoré's impact isn't limited to Burkina Faso. His recent visit to Ghana for President John Mahama's inauguration highlighted the admiration he commands across the continent. At the event, 21 African heads of state were present, including representatives from ECOWAS and the African Union. But when their names were called, the audience remained silent. However, when Traoré's name was announced, the stadium erupted in cheers and applause. The excitement was so overwhelming that it overshadowed President Mahama's moment. Crowds followed Traoré to his vehicle, chanting his name in admiration. This outpouring of respect speaks volumes about the yearning for authentic, selfless leadership across the continent. Chapter 6. The groundbreaking AES passport. Ibrahim Traoré has captured the imagination of millions with his unapologetic stance against foreign interference and corruption. What truly set Traoré apart this year was the historic rollout of the Confederation of Sahel States biometric passport on January 29, 2025. President Traoré personally completed his biometric enrollment, becoming the first recipient of this new travel document. This moment marked a monumental step toward regional integration and sent a powerful message of defiance against neo-colonial influence. The AES passport allows citizens of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to travel freely within the Confederation without relying on traditional ECOWAS structures. Beyond being a travel document, it represents a bold statement of self-sufficiency and independence. For decades, West Africa has been tethered to external powers through economic and political constraints. The introduction of this passport is a clear declaration that the Confederation of Sahel States is reclaiming its autonomy. The move has already rattled external stakeholders. ECOWAS, which has long held sway over the region's affairs, has been dealt a significant blow, while existing ECOWAS passports remain valid until expiration. Authorities in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are actively encouraging citizens to transition to the AES passport. This shift reinforces the Confederation's break from West Africa's traditional power structures and signals that the era of foreign-controlled policies is fading. Chapter 7. Laying the diplomatic groundwork for AES-ECOWAS relations. Diplomacy has become a cornerstone for the AES since its formation. The Ouagadougou meeting had 4 essential objectives, all centered on formalizing the AES's relationship with ECOWAS. Given the evolving political and economic dynamics in the region, discussions were timely and necessary. One major factor was the AES's official departure from ECOWAS on January 28, 2024. For almost a year, ECOWAS appeared reluctant to acknowledge the Confederation's decision. Initially, the organization failed to take the exit seriously, leading to delays and missed opportunities for constructive dialogue. However, in January 2025, ECOWAS finally proposed discussions through formal correspondence, signaling a shift toward diplomatic engagement. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, President Assimi Goïta of Mali, and President Mohamed Bazoum of Niger, the AES agreed to approach these talks as a unified bloc. The Ouagadougou meeting aimed to develop a collective strategy for managing relations with ECOWAS and defining the terms for a peaceful and cooperative coexistence between the two entities. Comparisons were drawn between the AES-ECOWAS situation and a divorce, a metaphor that aptly captures the complexity of the negotiations. As Mali's Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop pointed out, in any divorce, there are always matters to settle: custody, agreements, and long-standing arrangements. The same holds for the AES and ECOWAS, given the numerous agreements that have been in place for decades. The discussions in Ouagadougou focused on finalizing these arrangements, ensuring that the interests of AES populations were preserved while maintaining stability in the region. Chapter 8. A United Front. In a recent speech, Mali's Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop provided further insight into the transformative vision driving the Confederation of Sahel States. His words were a rallying cry for unity and resilience, emphasizing that the decision to break away from ECOWAS was not merely a reaction, but a conscious step toward reasserting sovereignty. "We have taken back the destiny of our countries," Diop declared passionately. "Our populations remain confident in their future, moving forward with determination for the realization of their full sovereignty." Diop underscored that the Confederation is not just a political alliance, but a platform for a new form of solidarity. "We are recreating solidarity based on respect and complementarity, allowing our countries to speak with one voice through diplomatic action while strengthening development and security measures on the ground," he stated. The message was clear: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are no longer willing to be pawns in the hands of external forces. Chapter 9. Navigating the departure from ECOWAS. Leaving ECOWAS after decades of cooperation was no simple task. Minister Abdoulaye Diop of Mali acknowledged the complexity, comparing it to a divorce where numerous legal, social, and financial matters must be settled. The leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger made it clear that their exit was final, despite initial attempts by ECOWAS to dismiss or reverse the decision. For nearly 11 months, ECOWAS appeared hesitant to engage seriously with the new reality. However, in January 2025, ECOWAS extended a formal invitation for discussions. Recognizing the importance of coexistence, the AES agreed to approach negotiations collectively, with the goal of defining a framework that preserves regional stability and serves the interests of their populations. Minister Diop emphasized that AES nations are open to pragmatic dialogue but remain firm in their stance. There is no returning to the old arrangement. Chapter 10. Mobility and the question of visas. One of the most pressing issues following the departure from ECOWAS has been the question of mobility for citizens. The introduction of the AES biometric passport was a landmark achievement, symbolizing not just freedom of movement within the Confederation, but also a declaration of autonomy from ECOWAS's regulatory structures. The AES leadership has taken a strong stance against the imposition of visas between AES and ECOWAS member states. In a December 2024 declaration, the AES confirmed that its space would remain visa-free for its member populations. Minister Diop highlighted the historical precedent, recalling that West African nations had enjoyed free movement long before ECOWAS's establishment. As the AES continues to navigate its path forward, several key questions remain. Will ECOWAS and the AES reach a mutually beneficial agreement? How will the Confederation address economic challenges in the face of reduced foreign aid? The international community is watching closely as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger redefine what it means to be truly independent nations in the 21st century. Chapter 11. A Blueprint for Africa's Future. Traoré's leadership and the AES's vision send a clear message. Africa does not need endless foreign aid to succeed. Traoré's administration is focused on industrialization, economic self-sufficiency, and wealth creation. The contrast is clear. While many African nations remain trapped in a cycle of corruption and dependency, Burkina Faso is charting a path toward independence and prosperity. Traoré's leadership is proving that Africa does not need endless foreign aid to succeed. What it needs are bold, fearless leaders who prioritize their people and reject exploitation. The time for excuses is over. Africa must wake up and follow Traoré's example, embracing self-reliance and demanding accountability. His actions have exposed the failures of the old system and shown that true development starts from within. If you're inspired by what's happening in Burkina Faso and believe in the power of strong leadership, then join the conversation, share your thoughts, like this video, and subscribe for more stories. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave your comments below.